I guess it would be nice if I could touch your body. I know not everybody has got a body like you, but I gotta think twice before I give my heart away. And I know all the games you play because I play them too. Oh, but I need some time off from that emotion. Time to pick my heart up off the floor. Oh, when that love comes down with a devotion. Well, it takes a strong man, baby, but I'm showing you the door. Cause I gotta have faith. I gotta have faith. Because I got to go for faith. I got to have faith. Baby, I know you're asking me to stay. Say please, please, please don't go away. You say I'm giving you the blues. Maybe you mean every word you say. I can't help but think of yesterday and another who tied me down to level boy rules. Before this river, here comes an ocean. Before you throw my heart back on the floor. Oh, baby, I reconsider my foolish notion. Well, I need someone to hold me, but I wait for something more. Yes, I gotta have faith. I gotta have faith. Because I gotta have faith. I gotta have faith. Comes an ocean before you throw my heart back on the floor. Oh, baby, I reconsider my foolish notion. Well, I need someone to hold me, but I wait for something more. Cause I gotta have faith. I gotta have faith. Because I gotta have faith. I gotta have faith.
Afternoon. I'm back. How the devil are you? That was a quick change from me. So I had the wrong way around. Have I made myself weird? Let me just do this. Oh no, I don't want to do that. I don't know how I did that. Oh Jesus. Certainly don't want that. Well, I don't quite know what's going on and why it's mirrored. So maybe I've made myself wrong now. I don't know. Am I the wrong way round for you? Yes, I was. Okay. Good afternoon. How the devil are you? Are you doing this? There's something going on. So all I want to say is I want to just give you an idea about Party of Women and what makes us so different to everyone else. And I've been talking to candidates this morning. We've got 16 candidates. How great is that? So I'm just going to talk to you about why I'm very hopeful and why this makes a difference. And then I'm going to talk to you about some other stuff that's slightly more spiky. So Party of Women is going to do things differently. We're going to have to do things differently because we don't have a particularly large budget. And we're going to do things differently because I do care about this country very, very much. But I don't think that I absolutely think the most serious thing is the forcing of lies that we are all expected to do through or for fear of punishment. I really can't speak very well today. So, for example, if is that the right one? I am struggling today. If, for example, you know that men cannot be, I'm going to do that. Jeez. Oh my gosh. If you understand that men cannot be women, then you have a few choices. You can speak up and face some consequences, which is where Dare to Be Honest comes from. Those consequences might not be some that you can afford. You shouldn't have to obviously face consequences for speaking up. Or your kids can go to school, and if they speak up, they may lose all their friends, or they may get in trouble at school. Even one of our members, Catherine, who was often in the chat actually, she went to one of her last cancer appointments before Christmas break, and she was told that she's been investigated for a hate crime, and she was left with that, thinking about that all over Christmas. So until we get rid of this, the most obvious of lies, and I'm not saying it's the only lie, but the most obvious Darvo lie, big, fat, massive, great big pile of lies that we actually have to deal with, until we do that, I just don't think that we can put our faith in anything else, because nothing else can be true. It can't be right that you vote for a party like they did in the United States of America. It can't be right that people continue to vote for a party that either A, has overseen all of the changes and the dismal crap that's gone on for the last 6-7 years, or you vote for a party that definitely wants to make that worse. That just can't be right. We cannot live in a supposed free democratic society where you can't say, I don't want to see that man's penis in the female changing room, or that your daughter can't say it, or that even children now are being conditioned so they don't even recognize their own fear and their natural instinct against a predatory man in their space. It can't be right. And so until those fundamentals are changed, I don't think we can trust any politician to say anything with any value or meaning. Because how can they? How can you trust that when they say they will change something fundamental, like rights for disabled people or people with disabilities, excuse me, or that they will invest and there'll be no more sewage thrown in the sea, or they'll build more train platforms, or rail travel will be cheaper, or energy prices will go down? How can you trust that if they're willing to lie about the fundamental truth about biological sex? How can this be? How can you trust it? And I think more importantly, it's not just the fact that they will lie, but the fact that eventually we'll get to a place where we don't even remember it's a lie. That you so frequently say it, that you amend the words that you speak, and eventually you will disorder the words that you think. And then you won't know what to say, and you won't know how to say anything, because everything will be shrouded in some sort of threat of intimidation or violence. And let me just say something about our democratic process. More than one of our candidates was intimidated out of even participating. So £500 is quite a lot of money, especially when you haven't got very long to raise it. £500 is a lot of money, but it's not insurmountable. Most people, if they've got the right cause and the right personality, can gather together somehow £500, right? That's not the biggest of deals for everyone. That is a barrier to participating. Maybe that's a little bit of a good barrier, which means you have to be able to raise that sort of money to even enter the game. I'm willing to concede that maybe that's all right. But the 10 nominations, so you have a proposer, a seconder, and 8 nominations. And those addresses and names, those names go public. Now, there are women that could not participate this time that wanted to, because they couldn't find enough people, or they didn't want the addresses of their friends or the people that they could gather for signatures on those forms that go public. So that was an interest. That's not a barrier I should imagine you have if you're Conservative or Labour or Liberal Democrat or Green, because the people that oppose us are trans rights activists who will contact your employer, who will seek to try and destroy your business. and they've intimidated normal civilian women. But they have actually managed to interfere with the democratic process through intimidation, through the threat of intimidation. Another one of our candidates wouldn't stand because she was worried about her own address. Another one of our candidates, when they told their landlord, business landlord, who'd had them in the property for 12 years, never late rent, good relationship. Once she said she was going to run for us, she lost her tenancy and she's being turfed out, so they won't renew in 4 or 5 months, whenever that is. So this is what we're talking about. We are talking about women like us have to walk into buildings with this flag all over it to go and hand in nominations, already feeling intimidated. And then I had to go up in the lift with someone with a pride lanyard in a building where I was shown out where they didn't have a female-only toilet. Now, I'm pretty brave, apparently. I don't care about any of this stuff, but I've been doing this a long time, and I'm a special sort of sociopath, I suspect. But there's many ordinary women that want to get involved in this, and we want ordinary women to get involved in this. We want a woman that you meet when you're shopping, doing your food shop. We want a woman that you meet when you go into a care home to visit one of your parents, or a nurse when you visit a hospital, or one of your regular GPs. We want women from everywhere, not attention-seeking, makeup-wearing, peroxide blondes, but like women that people can relate to. We want those women. We want women that speak straightforward truth and don't make it all flowery and speak in political speak. That's who we want. And there's not too many of those women, and I'm very extraordinarily proud that we've met so many. But there'll be many women that don't want to do that, that don't want a battle, don't want any conflict, don't want to feel in fear in their own home. They don't want any of that. They just want to stand up for something they believe. So this is what I'm talking about. This is why we're going to be different. So this is what we're going to do. We are going to be doing most of our campaigning through social media. We also need a leaflet drop. Now, I was trying to, we also have to find, let me just say, another thing you have to do on everything you print, you have to put the printed name and address of a printer on everything you send out. So, as you well know, I've had about 3 companies cancel on me because they've been infiltrated. They've either had a trans employee, a person who calls himself trans, who's employed, who makes a complaint, or somebody finds out, trans activists find out, and they target that business. Now, I think businesses should all stand up and they should tell trans activists to sod off. But until everybody does that, we are basically beholden to whether or not they get targeted and intimidated. We are totally at the whim of trans activists and whether or not they find these particular businesses. So that's another way that women like myself and Party of Women more generally, but that we will be at a disadvantage in comparison to everyone else. So this is why, if you can help, and I'll put the QR code up, if you can help, we would really like as much help as possible, because we are going to have to do things slightly differently. We are not, I'm not saying I don't care about the issue of climate change, even about the issue whether it's real or not, about Stop Oil, about all of the other campaigns. I'm sure there's really important things going on elsewhere, but this is my issue, and we are single issue. And that single issue about telling the truth about biological sex is not limited to making it a little bit clear in the Equality Act. I was mildly amused today as everybody realised that it's not the national police chiefs that decide anything. It's individual forces, which is, I don't want to say this, but I have been saying the same for a mighty long time. And so nobody's listening. Nobody, you can sit down in all the committees and someone listened, all you like. Nothing will change. This is how we're going to change stuff. And I'm not saying those things don't have merit and value. They do. They make a lot of people feel very good about themselves. But if we want to get stuff done, we have to force the people in power to make public declarations about their position on this issue. It has to be the thing that now all politicians are asked in interviews so that everyone can judge, does that person have moral courage or not? Will they stand up for this country or not? Will they stand up for my rights as a worker, as a man, as a woman, as a child or not? Will they do that? Because that's what this test is all about. That's what this is all about. That's why we're doing this. I've been there. I've asked the questions. I've gone to a hustings and I've asked some questions. But this is what happens in a hustings if you're actually in the audience. Oh, hello, Maria Miller. Can you tell me what a woman is? As I did back in 2019, 2020. Oh, I don't want to. Oh, let's not. And then you get everybody else, panel and in the audience staring at you as if, right, you've had your turn. And then you might get a little quick quip in, which obviously I would. You might get a little quip in as a response, and then that's the end of your conversation. And you're not entitled to anymore. But when you're at the hustings, and when you're on that row, and when you're actually part of that conversation, that's what you can force people into. You can force them in. I can say to Thangham Debonair, you lack conviction and courage when it comes to this issue. In fact, you've said more about being on the side of trans rights than women's rights, despite making your reputation and your money in women's services, which it's quite common. So that's what I've decided to do. I've decided to put my money where my mouth is, and loads of women have done the same. So over the next couple of days, you'll see more and more information about what we stand for and how that applies to every single aspect of everybody's lives, not just women. And you will see what it means, and you will see how we defend ourselves. And I'd really ask you very kindly, please, can you support what we do? Can you share everything that we do? Because that's what's going to make a difference. Like I said, look, we can do all the meetings in all the world. We can be invited to the top table. We can be given a special badge of anointment, badge of anointing. We can have all that, and it won't make any difference. It really, really won't. We can clarify the Equality Act, but until you get rid of, well, the whole thing is, as far as I'm concerned, but until you get rid of gender reassignment and we have get rid of the GRA altogether, everything is kind of pointless. Besides making people feel useful and that that people are achieving something, but you know, this is what we're talking about. So I will. Look, this is a Let Women Speak t-shirt. Go and get yourself a t-shirt this afternoon. Treat yourself to something nice. We're putting loads of items up that we've made accidentally. They're half price, and then slightly damaged items are like 10 and 20 quid. So if you've always wanted something that we sell, but maybe it's a little bit out of your budget, and I do apologize that it is, but we do actually, most of our items are organic and they are made in Europe. But we do appreciate that for some of you can't afford it, which is why we've got this amazing sale. So yeah, anyway, this is a winning strategy, and this is only the beginning. This is the beginning of a global movement, Party of Women. Today, the UK, next is Ireland. And I just want to, often I get compared to people. I just want to say, and this is going to sound very immodest, there is no one that does what we do. No one. There is no one that does quite the same that we do, that reaches the number of people that we do, that holds the line like we do, that doesn't get embroiled in other issues. I don't talk about abortion. I don't talk about other aspects of women's rights. I don't, because for me, there's no such thing as women's rights unless we can actually define what a woman is. So that I don't want to say it, but I am kind of unique. And there isn't anyone else doing this. Everyone else is somehow enmeshed in either some other argument, in some other political bias, or with some other group that may or may not compromise. And we don't do that. So please, please, dear people, do support what we do here, because we're going to really, really need it. Everything costs such a lot of money, and we just don't have very much. Cost thousands to set up the party, and now we're just relying on. See, look, why don't you speak about the Yazidi women? Because I talk about the plight of women in this particular issue. And if I start talking about other issues and other women, or sometimes I do tweet, but that's not what my campaign is about. So that's why. Anyway, I'm looking forward to hustings. I'm looking forward to billboards. I'm looking forward to all of it, but we need as much cash as possible. So you just have to dig in your pockets and get some loose change out the back of the sofa and send it to us. And then, 16 women have sucked